Okay, let's talk about macaroni and cheese. You know, it's a classic comfort food, a go-to for kids, and probably sitting in a bunch of our pantries right now. But have you ever stopped to think about what a simple bowl of macaroni really does to your body after you eat it? Well, today, we're putting it under the microscope to see what's actually going on.
So, let's get right to the big question. Is this super popular, seemingly innocent kids meal actually a hidden sugar bomb? We're talking about a potential blood sugar roller coaster that could be messing with everything from your energy to your focus.
You know us, we're not about guesswork. So to find out for sure, we set up a little experiment to get some real, hard data on what this meal is truly doing inside our bodies.
All right, here's the setup. We went with a standard 250-gram serving of homemade macaroni, which clocks in at around 500 calories. We picked this exact amount because it's a pretty typical portion size, to keep things fair.
So we used a continuous glucose monitor to track the response in real time. This little device gives us a super precise, minute-by-minute look at blood sugar, and what we saw was, well, let's just say it was pretty eye-opening.
And there it is, a 40 milligrams per deciliter spike in blood sugar. Now, I get it, 40 might just sound like a number, but trust me, in the world of blood glucose, that is a huge spike from a single meal.
So just how big is a 40-point spike, really? To get a feel for it, we need some context, right? How does it stack up against some other common breakfast foods?
So, let's do a little breakfast showdown. We're going to put that macaroni up against two traditional Indian dishes to see how it compares.
And wow, the results here are crystal clear. The macaroni caused a blood sugar spike that was literally double that of Upma and Poha. What's really wild is that Upma is also made from suji, or semolina, the exact same core ingredient as the macaroni. So what on earth is going on?
But get this, that massive spike, that's only half the story. The other piece of the puzzle is how long your blood sugar stays that high.
And this is where it gets even crazier. With Poha or Upma, blood sugar gets back to normal in about 2 hours. But with the macaroni, it took a full 3.5 hours. That means your body is working overtime for nearly twice as long to deal with all that sugar.
So this all leads to one big question. Why? Why does macaroni have such a wildly different effect than Upma when they're both made from suji? Well, the answer really comes down to one thing: processing.
To really understand the total impact, scientists use a term called glycemic load. Think of it this way. A quick, small splash of water is one thing, but a giant wave that knocks you down and keeps you underwater for a while, that's a whole different story. Glycemic load measures both the size of that wave and how long it lasts.
So here's the quick math on that. The spike is 2 times higher, and the duration is nearly 2 times longer. You multiply those two things together, and you get a total glycemic load that's 4 times greater than Upma. That's 4 times the overall stress on your body from the exact same amount of food.
And the reason for this massive difference is how that suji is treated. The suji used for macaroni is highly refined, meaning the natural fiber gets stripped out. Without fiber to act like a brake, that sugar just rushes straight into your bloodstream. Upma, on the other hand, is made with less processed suji, so the fiber is still there, slowing everything down. And that is the real game changer.
Okay, so what's the bottom line here? What should you take away from all this?
So let's just recap. We saw how a simple bowl of macaroni led to a huge, long-lasting blood sugar spike. We're talking a total glycemic load 4 times higher than its less processed cousins. The key lesson here isn't that semolina itself is bad, but that how a food is processed can completely change its effect on your body.
And this leaves us with one last, pretty important question to think about. If a simple food like macaroni can have this big of a hidden impact, what other processed foods in our kitchens, maybe even ones marketed as healthy, are hiding a similar secret? It's definitely a good reminder to look beyond the label and think about how our food is actually made.